Hi, Weather Joey here with your bottom of the South Island weather recap and weather forecast for Sunday, December 11th, 2022. Now, this past week I was feeling a little bit bummed, and I'll get into it later in a future video, but feeling better today because I got out for a surf this morning at the point of Jordan River and the waves were wonderful. So, feel in tune where the fire lights up the air, churns up the sea, the water, and it comes up onto the coast and meets the land. So all four elements coming together and me being there to embrace all of them and share with them. Anyway, special feeling. Our last forecast was Sunday, November 27th, so we got a lot to go through. I'll probably cut little sections because I can't remember it all. But as always, before we get into that, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank and acknowledge the first peoples of this land, the First Nations, from North Saanich out to Sooke and beyond and across this beautiful land. And actually it relates to why I was feeling kind of shitty before, but I'd like to thank them for allowing us to live, work, and today play on their beautiful traditional territory. So can't believe I have the opportunity to do that in my lifetime. I hope you in the future are enjoying some of these things that we have in the past here. Yeah, just amazing. Like 100 years ago or so, at least the modern times, people weren't doing that, and we get the chance to do that, and we also get the chance to ride snow, and we got a little bit to talk about snow, so let's get into it. Yeah, so Sunday the 27th marked the start of our meteorological winter because it was a turning point, as we talked about. We started seeing a northerly flow down the coast that brought in consistently cool air. Now this flow was fueled by high pressure out here, which is kind of unusual this time. Well, it's kind of unusual to have it this far out. Usually it's up into the Gulf of Alaska, blah, blah, or it's down over here, but we had it out here, up, excuse me, up near the Aleutians, and it was far enough away from the coast that these systems up in Alaska were able to come down, and that brought a snowy end to November. Fairly unusual for that time of year. So, the first system came down, let's see, I think it was Tuesday the 29th, because that's when we kind of, so snow came up, started up Tuesday the 29th of October. Cold enough to bring snow to most of the south coast, kind of changed to rain overnight into the 30th. But as that system went through, it changed a little bit to rain, and in behind we saw a fairly cold northerly flow. A little bit of outflow happening there. If you check back over the records, temperatures dropped quite a bit into the first and really quite wintry cold, a cold snap. Can't remember if there was clouds or not. There's some clouds. It wasn't totally clear, cool snap. Anyway, that came in for a brief little break, and then we saw another system come diving in. Now, this system was a little further off the coast, but we did see it circulate around, and I think that brought snow in for the 2nd. Let's see, snow starts up early on the 2nd and falls much of the day for many, with Upper Island getting the most. Yes, the Upper Island got kind of like 10 to 15 centimeters, the Upper East Island. So a fair amount of snow around the region, shutting things down. Now, I'm going to take a little break there. So cut. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back here. So we talked about the 2nd into the 3rd. Now that second system moved on out the 3rd, and we saw this ridge kind of shift over up into the Gulf of Alaska. And that really allowed for drier air over northern BC and some outflow winds. So again, we went into another cold snap. The other one wasn't really a cold snap. This one, truly a cold snap. And quite clear, I guess, for the, let's see, cooler, drier air. Moves in for the 4th and 5th, really. Let me get an eraser here. So that's for the 4th, 5th of December. Now, I want to mention here, and I'll mention it in the seasonal recap, that we're really into some dry weather. Fall wasn't the driest ever by any means for October, November, but if you take into account that dry spell from mid-July to October, and add those 2 months of a kind of a dry fall, we are in the driest 5-month stretch that we've been in ever this time of year. So we're really low as far as our water levels, and worrying about the snowpack and looking on into the future, more dry weather. Anyway, before we get into that, we're talking about this high pressure building more into here, bringing the 4th, 5th, fairly cool, cold snap weather. Now this started to back away by the 6th, and what we started to see here was a bit of a west-northwest, more of a west-northwest flow, a little bit more moisture, a little bit more seasonal. So this high pressure backs away down here, and this west-northwest flow comes in. Cloud, mix of cloud and sun. I think we even saw some drizzly rain on this. Yeah, for the 6th, this ridge is breaking down, allowing for more moderate cloudy, drizzly flowing from the west-northwest. Yes, this flow brings the arrival of a weak frontal system in from the west for the 7th, with low pressure move into the upper G of A. Yeah, so the upper Gulf of Alaska system moves in here, and we got a weak front going through on the from the west-northwest on the 7th and on the 8th. Not a lot of rain with that, but along with this system here, it's kind of funneling down here, this low pressure, got to make sure it's going the right direction. We get another low come swinging around here. Now this one's quite a strong one, and this was for the 9th and into 10th. So that's Friday the 9th into Saturday the 10th. Comes in, starts really bringing some strong winds. Look at the wind records, because it's really quite windy down in the southern island and across the inner south coast. East-southeast winds. Now this started rain up later on the 9th, and it really, as it parked over here on the 10th, it really pumped rain, especially up onto the East Island. Others not so much, but the East Island Comox, look at the records, they got over 2 inches, 2 to 3 inches for that whole system, before it is now moved on. And what we're seeing is another little weak ridge of high pressure, kind of surface pressure, moving in from the west-northwest. This is drying things out, and kind of mostly cloudy today, a few little sun breaks, but this ridge is really going to come to dominate. So this is Sunday, dominate this coming week and all the way into next week, and that's where the concern lies, because ridge is going to start off here. Going to start getting support up through here. We may even get some cold Arctic air by midweek and whatnot, but the whole point of this, or the whole concern of this, is dry weather all the way up to potentially Christmas. So that's kind of worrisome this time of year, because we really, like we said, haven't had that wet in October, not that wet, a drier than average October, drier than average November. And now we're looking at a dry December for much of December. So dry. Concerning. Anyway, I hope that helps out. For you out there, keep on having dry news. Hopefully it gets better. And for you in the past, like I said, I hope you guys are doing, or for you in the future, hope you guys are doing well out there. And as always, my friends, may the forecast be with you.